was scrolling through Reddit the other day and stumbled upon a post that was so emotional, so shocking, and so full of twists that I knew I had to share it with you. This isn't just some made-up tale. It's a real story from a real person, and it's a roller coaster. So grab your popcorn, get comfortable, and let's dive into this unbelievable story. It all starts with a guy whose parents divorced when he was about 13. He says he doesn't really remember the exact age, but it was around then. His mum moved on pretty quickly, but his dad took it a lot harder. Soon enough, his mum started bringing a new guy around. They were dating, as he puts it, but he didn't know much about the man. All his mum mentioned was that this guy had a couple of daughters. One was about 5 years older than him, and the other was 2 years older. At the time, he didn't think much of it. It was just a fact. That summer, his mum would often invite her new boyfriend and his kids out on their boat. The narrator admits he wasn't a big fan of these family outings. He preferred to stay behind, sulking in his teenage solitude. But one time, he decided to go. And that S when he saw her for the first time, the daughter, who was 2 years older. He thought she was good looking, but he felt she was way out of his league, so he didn't give it a second thought. He just brushed it off, and apparently she did the same. Nothing happened. No sparks, no dramatic music, just a casual observation, and life moved on. A few months passed, and winter rolled in. One day, he went with his mum to her boyfriend's house to pick something up. He remembers they had a computer in the basement, and he noticed that the daughter was signed into her AIM account. For those of you who don't know, that's AOL Instant Messenger, a classic from the early 2000s. He thought to himself, "What the hell?" and went down to the computer to find out her screen name. He thinks she was probably annoyed that he snooped to get it. But hey, he was a teenager. When he got home, he added her to his buddy list major nostalgia trip. They started chatting, and it turned out they got along really well. They became friends and talked quite a bit online. At this point, he actually had a girlfriend, but he describes her as being pretty crappy, so he didn't see any harm in chatting with another girl. One night, while they were messaging back and forth, she mentioned that she was going up north for the weekend to visit some family. He jokingly typed, "Hey, can I come with?" He never expected anything to come of it. But according to her, she asked her dad, probably assuming he would say no. But to everyone's surprise, her dad said yes. So she was stuck. She couldn't go back on her word. And that's how he ended up on a weekend trip with his mum's boyfriend's daughter. While they were up in the Great North, they really clicked. They bonded. Even though they were only there for the weekend, they spent the entire time together. They stayed up late watching infomercials, they rode quads together, they just hung out. He said they had a genuinely good time. Then, one night, they held hands, and it was great. That simple touch solidified that something was happening between them. When they got back home, the first thing he did was break up with his crappy girlfriend. Then, he asked his soon-to-be stepsister out. And she said yes. They started dating. Now, this is where the story gets really interesting. They dated for a while, and he mentions they did many things that he's sure people would want details about, but let's keep our imaginations in check. They were young and falling for each other. About a year into their relationship, their parents, his mum and her dad, finally got married. So, yes, you heard that right. They were officially dating when their parents tied the knot, making them step-siblings. Everyone knew they were a couple. It wasn't a secret. Their parents didn't exactly approve of the situation, but as the narrator says, "Who cares? We were in love." He describes himself as a young, naive little boy, and in his eyes, she was this all-grown-up woman. They did everything together. Their relationship became his whole world. He admits he lost nearly all of his friends because he was spending so much time with her. But they were happy and they were in love, and at that age, that's all that seemed to matter. This went on for a while, a whirlwind romance under the same roof in a newly blended family. But things started to change shortly after she graduated from high school. She decided to move to another state to live with her own mum. The distance became a problem. He says he didn't do long-distance relationships, so he broke up with her. He explains that once she was away, it was easy for him to move on. It sounds cold, but that's how he felt at the time. Even though they had officially broken up, their story wasn't quite over. They still saw each other for a few months afterward, caught in that post-breakup limbo. But eventually, she found someone else and, in his words, decided to kick me to the curb. And that was the real end. He sums it up by saying the whole ordeal was pretty crazy. And he admits there are a lot more details he left out to avoid writing a full-on book. It's a messy, complicated story about love, family, and the blurry lines that can sometimes appear between them. It's a testament to how intense teenage relationships can be and how they can shape you, for better or for worse. It's also a fascinating look into a family dynamic that most of us will never experience. There's no clear right or wrong here, just a bunch of people trying to figure out their lives and their feelings. What do you think? Was it wrong for them to date? Should the parents have intervened more? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for listening to this wild ride of a story with me. It's definitely one that will stick with you. If you enjoyed this, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the most unbelievable stories the internet has to offer. I'll see you in the next one.